Hey, Welcome World Entertainment, and the Assassin's Creed series that's going to come from Netflix has been starting to get updates regarding cast and time period and all that good stuff. It's interesting what we're hearing about the time period, because the article says one thing that contradicts what the games actually have done. But let's dive into this, because we're hearing now about characters as well. So earlier this week, which would have been last week, the news broke that Euphoria star Toby Wallace has been tapped to play one of the co-leads in Netflix's upcoming Assassin's Creed TV series. This marks the second attempt to bring the Ubisoft franchise to live action after the poorly received 2016 movie starring Michael Fassbender. It's hard to believe it was that long ago as well. To be honest with you, it seems a little longer. Details on the show have been far and few between, but Nexus Point is reporting that it will explore ancient Rome. That's a period the games haven't touched on, but it's one we've seen used in many hit series and movies, Spartacus, Gladiator, for example. Now, we're wrong about that. Ancient Rome has been in the games. Not as a big part of the games, but you were going around Italy in I think it was the second game. So yes, parts of ancient Rome have been used in the game, so that's wrong. But the site adds, Assassin's Creed will feature figures like Emperor Nero and Seneca the Young, who served as Nero's tutor. This would potentially date the series as being set somewhere between 54 to 68 AD, if Nero is to be the emperor. Details on Toby Wallace's character are being kept under wraps, but the character will be part of the ensemble cast featuring multiple other younger characters, the report notes. Robert Bottino of DMZ and David Weiner of Halo will serve as showrunners and executive producers for Assassin's Creed. And it just talks about the producers and all that crap, and who quite frankly cares. So in 2020, Ubisoft and Netflix announced they had entered into an agreement to develop content based on the globally popular Assassin's Creed video game franchise. That should probably say formerly popular Assassin's Creed game till they shit the bed with the newest one. This live-action adaptation is the first series to be developed under the agreement. So we know all this type of information. Now, the question, of course, is which of the characters from the games are they going to use, if any? So in terms of your main assassin, is it going to be any of the main assassins from the game? Probably not. We don't know, but probably not, because the movie sure as hell didn't do it. Then, of course, the next question, which we don't have any information to, is, yeah, we're hearing this featuring time period of Emperor Nero and crap in ancient Rome. Okay, but that would only have to be one part of the whole time period, seen as you were actually put in the machine that goes into the DNA to put you into these time periods. So are we also getting the present/future setting? There seems to be no information on any of that. And of course, if that happens, unlike the movie, would they do what the game does, where you are two different people? You're one guy in the future. I can't remember the name now. I almost had it and it slipped away from me. And then, of course, he goes back to being one of his ancestors. The whole look of the characters and everything are completely different, such as he's American and the ancestors are obviously Italian. So that's where the next questions come into, is like, what way are they going to structure this? And of course, if they do that horrible fight stuff that the movie did, which was, oh, we're going to jump between him fighting in the machine, which that's not how the machine worked either in the games, and the visualization of him fighting in ancient times. It was horrible the way they did it, and it did not work, where the game structure is so much better, at least in the original games, where you were brought in, you were put into the machine, it would knock you out, you were like lying on it, the visor thing would come over, and it would tap into the DNA that way. And of course, for anyone who doesn't understand what exactly I'm talking about, because maybe you've never played Assassin's Creed and you don't know any of the lore, is that apparently we all have the ancestors' DNA in all of us, which makes sense, but they develop a technology that can tap into the memories of your ancestors through the DNA. So what they do is they put you in the machine, which I'm forgetting the name, something, I don't think it was the obelisk, it was something similar, and you would lie down, this thing would go over you, and they would access the memories of your ancestors. So you pretty much are living your ancestors' life through their memory. So then you go from the future to the past, and what it was is the Templars were trying to discover objects that they could use for power and stuff through the memories of the ancestors, because the ancestors found these objects, hid these objects, all that type of stuff. So they're going above and beyond to try and find where all of this stuff is to use to gain and keep and control more power and stuff like that. So that's what they did, and that's how it operated. Whereas the movie, of course, he's in this machine that kind of just sticks around his waist and lifts him up and spins him around and all this type of crap. The movie used elements of the game, and the one thing they used but completely misused was the egg. And that's what the thing was called in the game. It was the egg, which was this thing of power that anyone that controlled it, you could slow time down, speed it up. It made you pretty much invincible, and they use it in the movie, but they completely misused it. They didn't understand the way it operated and how it actually worked and stuff like that. So if they go more into the games, you'd have more faith. Problem now as well, though, is this is Ubisoft we're talking about in 2025 and Netflix in 2025. What in God's name could we actually end up getting with this thing? Are we going to have Ancient Rome, where one of the main assassins, of course, ends up being a gay black dude or some crap like that? Wouldn't be surprised. Just look at what they did with Assassin's Creed Shadows, which was an absolute disaster. So you're making this thing at a time where, you know, people's confidence in you isn't exactly there. It's completely gone. And with the disaster of that game, to then go, oh, by the way, we've just given you this absolute disaster of a game. How do you feel about a TV show? I think people are just going to go, yeah, we'll pass. So they've got one hell of an uphill battle with this thing, but time will tell. So what do you guys think? Are you excited for this? Do you care? Do you have those concerns that with Ubisoft and Netflix of this time period, are we in for a disaster? Do let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.